Britney Spears has seemingly settled with her father, Jamie. Matthew Rosengart has released statements, and yet I'm not feeling good, guys. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. This story came out Friday, but I wanted to sit on it a bit, and I'm so glad I got BJ, that surprise witness, here with me because I need someone to try to make sense of this, BJ. I'm having so much trouble trying to understand what the hell has happened. Now, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, but I certainly have been better.
This is look, we've been fighting this fight for a while. And I've sort of tapped out because like I felt like, all right, she got her freedom. I want to let her be what she wants, regardless of whether I think of what she does on Instagram. To me, isn't really my business. I'm like, whatever, you go do you, girl. But Matthew Rosengart was talking a big game. There was a lot of stuff that I feel like we knew was going on behind the scenes. A lot of people responsible for things that we knew could take time. And what happened, guys, if you're out of the loop, is that she is now apparently settled. Now, I want to, before we get to all the documents and all the details, and of course TMZ spinning this to now she's crazy. I want to focus on this because I know this is a issue for you as well, BJ. But here was Rosengart's statement as all this broke. Mm-hmm. It has been our honor and privilege to represent, protect, and defend Britney Spears. Miss Spears is and always will be an icon and brilliant and brave artist of historic and epic proportion. Although the conservatorship was terminated in November 2021, her wish, her freedom is now truly complete. As she desired, her freedom now includes that she will no longer need to attend or be involved with court or entangled with legal proceedings in this manner. Britney won when the court suspended her father, and Britney Spears won when her fundamental rights and civil liberties were restored. Since obtaining her freedom in late 2021, Britney has achieved remarkable success on several fronts, including blah, blah, blah. Yes, she did good in a song. She had her landmark book deal with Simon & Schuster, weird press release, and which received universal breaking praise, yada, yada, yada. We repeat our gratification for being in a position to help restore the civil rights and liberties of Britney Spears and the honor and privilege it has been to serve and protect Miss Spears and obtain her goals in resolving various legal matters pursuant to her thoughtful and wise instruction and requests, which once again are to her credit. I don't know, man. This is weird for me, BJ, because he could have terminated the conservatorship ages ago. He didn't. I remember talking about this with Christopher. There was a lot of things he held on doing. And this victory lap he's supposedly trying to take, I guess it's for the greater good of, well, let's try to paint the millions of dollars I've spent in Britney Spears' money to seem like it's a win, you know, glass half full instead of half empty. But it's really not sitting well with me. There's so much still at that was unresolved. Britney, and we're going to get to Britney's comment in a second, how she's basically saying in her own Instagrams, which has now been deleted, that there's no justice after her family hurt her. Are you sharing this shared sort of frustration? What is your initial reaction to that comment from Rosengart?
I mean, last couple times I came on here, I was a little bit like the voice of dissent, you know. I'm never trying to rush to agree with every single thing that anybody says, even if they're my friends and things like that. But what you just said, 100% of it, I have to say that I agree with. I don't feel right about this. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel like it's a win. And I do think that this is Matt Rosengart doing a PR spin. For a long time, I've been kind of on the fence about Matt Rosengart because I wanted to believe that maybe Britney really did hire him and he's really working in her best interest and all that. But then, you know, we had a lot of reasons to not trust the man, like, for example, including that he did charge Britney million
million, big difference.
Yeah, no, it's hard to keep up with all these amounts, but yeah, $4 million before he decided to go pro bono. And the fact that all he seems to be focusing on in these press releases is product sales. Oh, look at this great song she did. Oh, look at this other great song she did, but she actually recorded 11 years ago and re-released it, and look, it was #1 on the Billboard. And oh, look, a book you can go buy. She's been free. Yes, now she's finally free. There's also that kind of weird thing of like, was she finally free in 2021? Like they've been gaslighting us and telling us for 2 years? Or is she finally free now? Because one of them cannot be true. Like one of them has to be the case. And It seems to me like maybe Matt Rosengart has a financial stake in some of these projects, like the songs. Like, did Matt Rosengart maybe help negotiate the deals for these things, and maybe he gets a certain percentage, and that's why he's doing pro bono? I'm just wondering. I don't know. I wasn't there. But Britney Spears did not win. Nothing about this is winning. Absolutely nothing can be construed as a win. The woman was enslaved. She compared her own situation to trafficking. She said these people should be in jail. And now everyone just gets off scot-free, and Britney Spears has to pay them millions still? No. This isn't what I fought
Yeah,
for.
I mean, and let's put it in perspective, right? She spent like $4 million to fight a $1.2 million legal bill, is what ultimately this was. So this is a massive loss. Let's call it what it is. And this is no shade at Britney. Like, I'm not here to comment on Britney's behavior on Instagram. I don't care. Like, that is a whole separate side topic of whatever this is. This settlement of things. And I want to read what Melcher said. If the reports are true, this is from, I asked his thoughts. He was going to join us. He couldn't make it though. But if the reports are true, it's pretty bad. Rosengart talked pretty big game, but never proved a thing. He didn't even ask for the conservatorship to be terminated. It was Jamie who did that. Let's not forget that either, right? He could have done that earlier, and Jamie ultimately is the one who did it. Rosengart didn't sue anyone despite claiming massive frauds and conflicts of interest were perpetrated against his client. He could have gone after that $40 million bond. Remember that one, BJ? There was a $40 million bond at play that's still and requested a set aside of every transaction, even those approved by the court. He spent over $4 million attorney's fees fighting a $1.2 million bill. Only way this makes sense is that he realized he couldn't prove any of it, or Britney didn't want to be involved. Are the two things. Now I asked, or he's shady, and he doesn't think that at all. He's like, no, Rosengart's a good guy. He's not going anywhere there. Now I'm sure we'll go there all day long.
I'm agree with you on that one because, and again, I just want to reiterate, I don't always agree with you on stuff. Sometimes I will push back. Yep. This one I agree with you. I love Christopher Melcher. I consider him to be actually a friend. I really like him, and he is in this field. He does know what he's talking about, but I can't get on board with thinking that Matt Rosengart's a good guy. I don't know him. But it doesn't seem like outside the realm of possibility that he's shady. It seems within the realm of possibility that really Matt Rosengart is shady, and maybe he talked Britney into this. Now, what I will say is Matt Rosengart could have just been being honest with Britney. Like, look, we are nowhere near the end of this. You're going to be spending $10-20 million if we keep going. That does happen sometimes. I think 99% of trials in civil court don't actually make it to trial. 99% of cases don't actually make it to trial. And so it's not unusual for people to settle even at this, or especially at this level. But no, I'm not 100% convinced that this is just, either Britney didn't want to be involved anymore or Matt couldn't prove anything.
Well, and let's talk about the elephant in the room. I think it's hard because now TMZ, of course, is out there. Britney's is completely dysfunctional, in danger of going broke. Look, I believe she has plenty of money still, and I believe she has every opportunity to make more money as the book and the album or that single proved. Like, I don't think she's in danger of going broke, but I do think it's hard to deny, she may not be the most, how do I say this, organized? Is what I'll say.
Though, Andy, do you know who oops, forgot to pay my internet bill. Oops, forgot to pay the light bill. How many broke people do you know? Because I know I don't know, dozens, maybe hundreds. So what? Yes. Somebody can't be broke?
Well, right. But it's exactly this is her right. But what I'm trying to get to, I guess, was I could see her not being the easiest client is maybe how I say it. I could see her having mood swings. I could see her having these things, which again, I don't think is relevant and I'm not trying to pile on, but there could be a version of this where, both things sort of could be true. And there's more of a middle ground where it's the conservatorship did organize her more. I mean, I'm not trying to justify its behavior, but I'm it's like military school can organize something. You know what I mean? There was probably a version of this where she was more productive.
Yeah, Andy,
under
whenever
people's
someone is
control.
Enslaved,
of course,
they absolutely are going to act better for the slave master. Yeah,
yes.
Of course.
So there's that extreme side of the coin, and then there's you take it all away, and then there's I don't even know what to do now. To me, is probably where we're stuck in the problem of she just, I think, needs better management to actually be honest with her and help her, push back at times to do. It seems like she doesn't really want to do that, judging by her Instagram. And no diss to Britney. Do what you want, Britney. But I can see why this is a bit of a mess, is all I'm saying. And it might have been harder for him to really understand. There's so much trauma. She always talks about the 4 months, BJ. It's like, Britney, it was way more than 4 months. And that's where there's definitely something else going on.
That once Britney started saying no back in 2018, 2019, and she really was putting her foot down and saying, no, I'm done with you people. I'm not doing this. I'm not dancing for you. I'm not doing more songs. I'm not doing more residencies. I think that they really cracked down at that point. They put her in that facility. She wasn't allowed to leave. They were, I think I mean, based on her accounts, I think they were torturing her. I do.
Yes.
I think they were torturing her. Certainly they were medicating her, as she said, against her will with very strong things that made her feel like she was drunk. Now that doctor's dead. He's not even around to live to tell the tale. I don't know how that came to be. I'm certainly investigating that as we speak. But I think that it's just so profoundly unfair for people to discuss Britney's current behavior as if it's somehow like happening because the conservatorship is no longer in place, whenever a lot of her behavior is probably largely explained because the conservatorship was in
100%,
place.
100%. And that's why I haven't chimed in or judged, because I'm like, she's free. That was the goal, which I do believe she was. I guess that's my question. Do you now? I've always pushed back. I'm like, enough. But this settlement's the first time where I'm like, is she is she in the good hands? Like, I can see why some people are worried. I can't just completely ignore
it. Before it went down said that there has been no justice and there probably never will be. She posted a picture saying they were withholding her medical treatments from her asthma inhalers.
Here's that. I was actually right about nerve damage in my back. I have to get acupuncture every day of my life now. Words and thinking too hard make it worse. If people only knew how I've had to crawl my own door to one time. My family hurt me. There have been no justice and probably never will be. People who sat and did absolutely nothing when they did that for 4 months are smooth sailing. The way I was brought up, I was always taught the formative of right and wrong, but the very two people who brought me up with that method hurt me. I'm so lucky to be here. It's funny because this is the day I haven't told them face to face. I text through IG, but honestly, I believe it will not be so safe if I ever did go face to face. The child in me knows they would be destroyed, and that's basically it. I do miss my home in Louisiana. I wish everyone could visit. I wish I could visit, but they took everything. She also, at one point, shared, there was a bottle of wine. Sorry, I have that one too. Eventually, you will come to understand that love heals everything, and that's all there is. And real wine feels extremely nice as well. First time with real wine, Jesus effing, blank. And then to counter that, let's not forget Jamie Lynn during this all decided to put out a meme saying me watching what I predicted unfold after everyone told me I was crazy. Because Jamie Lynn's the best sister in the world. Jesus. It's a mess, man. It's a mess because it's clearly Britney has gone through such trauma. I try not to criticize. I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying to call it what it is and why I don't talk about it as much. She's been through so much trauma that I can understand the mood swings, if you will. Because even on her Instagram, she deletes it or she says something, then she changes her mind. There's clearly so much that she's grappling with that I wish her so much success and hope and love and hope she has support around her to do. But I don't feel like she got justice. And what's frustrating is, and I will aim this at Rosengart, I'm confused because you were either lying about all the stuff out there that was there, and you were talking this big game of all this fraud that apparently existed. How do you not be able to prove any of it, or at least attempt in a court of law? Or, she gave up, I guess, and said, you know what, I don't want to do it. I've heard that, BJ. I heard Jamie was amputated, both legs or whatever, and has been on his deathbed for a long period. And there's been a lot of do you really want to do this in his last moments? And yes, she does. But then there's also it is. I can't imagine what she's going through. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you concur. Something smells fishy here about this win by Rosengart.
It's not a win. It's just not. There's no way to construe it such that you could convince me that this is a win. Now, I have seen a little bit of a conspiracy theory, rumor, unsubstantiated, traveling around the internet. And it is something, maybe you've seen it too. It's something along the lines of basically, the reason that they settled this is because Lou Taylor, TriStar, Robin Greenhill is all tied up with all this P. Diddy stuff. And now there's criminal investigations going on. And maybe it was the government, the authorities, the powers that be are finally going to take on the financial burden of going after Team Con. like I said, that's a conspiracy theory slash unsubstantiated rumor that I heard. I don't know if that's true. But if
Wishful
that is
thinking,
true,
maybe.
that would be the only silver lining because, yeah, let Britney out of it. Let her out of this court case. Let her feel free because I'm involved in court cases myself. I don't know if you've been sued
It's
by
taxing. That's
people.
the one thing to say. Like there is a part of like letting it go is a move where maybe Rosengart's been trying to let it go forever, and that's why it got so expensive.
I mean, she's
And
been having
maybe
to
to
go to court
Rosengart's
hearings
credit,
in
it's
this
like
courthouse
Britney.
for this for 16 years.
Yeah,
The better part of 20 years. She's been going to court for this. So
right.
she's
And
probably
spinning
tired.
it as a win would be the proper way. You don't want to, but I don't know. I still feel like you could express some disappointment. And justice still wasn't served. I want my lawyer to say justice has not been served.
That's always been my main issue with him, Andy, is that he never says anything bad about the court system. He never says one bad word about Brenda Penny, Reva Gates, Judge Luna. Never. He never says this should have never been, ever been implemented. I've even had the occasion to personally ask him in person when I went for hearings before, what do you say, Attorney Rosengart, to the fact that a court allowed this to go on right in front of all of us with our tax dollars and every other thing else? And he basically just didn't really respond to that.
Hmm.
He's never, ever really said the truth. That's my issue. He's never come out and said the truth. Everybody has a preferred scapegoat that they want to point their fingers at, whether it be Lou Taylor, whether it be Jamie Spears. But the reality is a lot of people came together to make this happen. And I haven't seen one single person pay a single consequence other than Britney Spears, the person who was enslaved.
Well, I hear you're going to be doing some more investigating into this. Make sure you go subscribe to That Surprise Witness and BJ Investigates. Both channels will give you a lot of insight. Well said. That's a good way to end on it because I don't know what to think anymore, to be honest. And at the same time, I don't want to add to the conspiracy and frustrations of Britney and Britney bashing out there. I'll never be subscribed to that ever because she's been through too much, and I just my heart breaks.
And also, she's not doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
If she was doing something actually
it's none
wrong,
of my damn business.
she's twirling and doing exactly the same dances that she's been doing on stage for 20 years, but she's doing it with some clothes people don't want her to wear, and her extensions are a little disheveled.
I don't push
Shut
me.
up.
I think it does feel like she's on something, BJ. It does. There's something in the eyes. There's something in the repetitiveness, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. And if it's legal and I'm wrong, then more power to you. But I will say, I hope that's false. I hope that rumor is
Andy,
false.
I mean, just as a devil's advocate, not that she needs one, but Britney has said she has nerve damage where she can't even walk sometimes.
So maybe it's meds.
It might be brain damage. The girl might have brain damage. And if she does, and the worst thing she's doing is twirling around and spending a lot of money, so be it. We cannot steal away somebody's constitutional rights because as a remedy for stealing away her rights. The only reason she's like this is because she was abused and drugged against her will.
And please don't twist it. Like, I don't agree with that 3,000%. I just want to make sure she has the support system around her that's not still taking advantage. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
And when I see that, I hope that there isn't someone peddling meds or whatever nonsense to keep her in a place because that's really dangerous. And it happens to a lot of celebrities. Michael Jackson died that way. Like, there's a version of this where I'm worried. You know what I mean? I want to make sure she's good and happy. And I'm not going to sit here making videos like, look at her. And like, I don't do that. I purposely, but I'd be a hypocrite to not point out like, I have some concerns. Of course I have concerns. And it's hard to know given all she's been through. You know what I mean?
I think the behavior that Britney exhibits online is confusing and unusual for the average person. That being said, I think it just ends there. I don't know exactly why she acts like that. It could be a host of reasons. It could be the fact that she still is being controlled and drugged against her will. I certainly think that's possible.
And the problem is now I can't be like, no, shut up. I can't do that. I don't think that's happening, and I hope that's not happening, but none of this is helping the case. Well, there you go. Subscribe to BJ over there at That's Surprise Witness. BJ Investigates. She'll be digging deeper into this, and we got so much more for you. What do you think? Please be civil and respectful in the comments down below. No Britney bashing on Popcorn Planet. Leave your comments, though, your thoughts, your worries, or maybe we missed something we missed. I want to hear them down below. Appreciate all you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.